Dear students, good morning everybody. This is Abdelmajid Oghorli, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of the National Center Curricular Development. Let me at the beginning in this session, first term exam session for third secondary grade students, introduce my colleagues in the studio, Ms. Ola Al-Moui, English Language Supervisor from Tartus Directorate.
Good morning.
And Ms. Najla Al-Dbesi, Damascus Countryside Directorate.
Good morning.
Very welcome.
Thank
and
you.
We hope our students will like what we're going to present to them. At the start, before we start our session, I want Ms. Ola to give some advices to the students before they start the exam. Please.
Okay, before they start the exam, they should relax. And this is the first and most important thing to put in mind. Relax, everything is going to be all right, especially that the exam questions can be solved even if you haven't prepared the whole required book or the parts of the book that are required. It's okay if you can do the parts of the exam, you can do it even if you haven't finished the whole session. So relax and work well, think carefully, don't work fast, and everything is going to be all right.
Especially this is a try. It doesn't have anything to do with their last final exam. It is just to see how the final exam is going to be. To test themselves. We're going to help them with the grammar and some vocabulary, and then we will show them a ready-made before sample exam, and we're going to do it for them so that, of course, in this term, they didn't take the whole book.
Of course not.
But the exam sample is the final exam sample, just to see how it's going to go. Would you like, Ms. Najla, to say anything to the students?
Yes, I would like to advise them firstly to prepare well before the exam, to think positively that everything will be okay, of course, and to consider this exam as an opportunity to judge their studying, if it is okay or is there something have to be mended.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Ms. Samahir Dayoub, our brave director, we want to thank you before we start, and we will thank you when we finish. And I want to thank Mr. Mahmoud Hamid, director of the platform, and the boss of this center, Dr. Darim Tabbah, and of course, the one who is giving us courage, Mr. Minister, Mr. Imad Al-Azab. Can you see the next slide, please, Ms. Samahir? Ms. Ola, you're going to start.
These are the required modules, or let's say units from the book. We have the first 6 units. Module 1, word issues, it's about word issues, the law, migration, recycling resources. These are the topics discussed in the book. About Module 2, natural world, the earth at risk, a world of plants and under the threat. This way we can organize our thinking when we see it this way. So these are the topics that are covered in the first term.
So in the first term, we're going to cover only the first 6 units.
Exactly.
2 modules,
Yes.
6 units. Next slide, please, Ms. Samahir. Ms. Najla,
Yes.
the grammar.
Yes, in grammar we have many topics also. We have the present perfect simple and present perfect continuous. In this grammatical part, we have to teach our students how to differentiate between them, uses and grammatical structures. Also, we have how to link between past perfect simple and past perfect continuous. Sorry, yes.
Talking about
wishes, giving explanations and talking about the results also, explanation possibilities, and the passive voice.
Well, thank you. So we're going to talk about must be, can't be, and might have been. We're going to talk about the cause and effect. All these grammar, they will meet in their first term exam session. Next slide, Miss, please. Miss Ola.
Okay, so now after we had an idea about what we're going to go through, now we can go into details. To start with the present perfect, it's covered with the very first unit, the first, second, third unit, the present perfect, simple and continuous. To start with, a general idea about the present perfect, about simple and continuous. When do we use it? We use verbs in the present perfect, simple and continuous for 2 reasons. The first one, to link actions or events which started in the past with the present. So when we have an action that started in the past and continued to the present, we use the present perfect.
Okay.
For example, they have broken the law, they should be punished. So the result in the present is the punishment, and what would they have done earlier is that they have broken the law. He's been studying law for 3 years. He started studying 3 years ago, and he is still studying now.
So difference between the simple and the continuous.
We're going to have it in a minute.
Finished, but we don't know the time reference.
Exactly.
This is the difference between the simple past and the
Generally speaking,
present
so
perfect.
we're going to go into details in a minute.
Yes. The present perfect continuous, something started in the past,
And
continued
continued
without
to the present.
stop till the present, and we are
Without a
focusing
break,
on the
without
duration.
stop. Exactly.
Yes, continue.
The second reason to use the present perfect in general, with for or since, to refer to a period of time. For example, I've lived here for 3 years, or I've lived here since 2006. They've been studying at university for 5 years, or since 2004. So this is a general idea about the present perfect. Now we can go into details with the present perfect simple and present perfect continuous.
Just one thing, here we see, and we want to assure the students that when we have since and for,
It's the same.
the same. Present perfect simple and present perfect continuous,
Can be used.
the same function.
Exactly.
So if they chose the present perfect simple with since and for, or the present perfect continuous, it's the same function. Next slide, please, Ms. Samahar. Thank you. And Ms. Najla is going to talk about...
The second part is about the present perfect simple, and we use it to talk about, number one, the fact that something happened in the past. Example, I've swum in
Here,
the Dead
it is
Sea.
something happened in the past, but
Yes.
we don't know the time.
Yes. Example, I have swum in the Dead Sea. Number two, a past experience or achievement, this is an important word here, with the definite results in the present. Example, I have broken my leg, which means I can't go skiing this year. I've passed my driving test, so I can borrow his car next week.
So always we need to have connection between the past and the present to use
Of
the
course.
present perfect tense. If we are talking about someone dead, can we use the present
of course.
perfect?
No,
This
this
is
is
simple
simple
past.
past, yes.
Of course, when someone is
Only
dead, it
simple
means
past.
no
It's over.
connection.
It's over.
Yes.
Like
with the present.
when we're going to talk about Shakespeare, for example, it has to be in the simple
Or
past.
Kulthum, yeah.
For example, yeah.
Yes. Next slide, Ms. Samahar. Ms. Saula.
Now, after we have had the present perfect simple, now we can move on to the present perfect continuous to differentiate between the two of them. We use the present perfect continuous when we want to talk about an activity which continues. Continues over a length of time. So continuation is a very important thing.
Yes.
For example, I've been reading a book about the history of lawmaking, sorry. So it means it took time, it continues from the past to the present.
Yes.
Next is second one, the stress of length of time. When we have a length of time, an activity has taken, she's been training to be a doctor for 6 years. So it took her 6 years to be a doctor.
Ms. Samahar, next slide, please. Again.
Third part, to talk about an activity which may not be completed.
This is very important.
It's not
When something
completed.
is not
Yes.
complete, always
not
use the
finished.
continuous.
Yes.
Like, Nawal has been writing her economics essay all morning. She's not finished yet. The essay is not finished yet. To talk about an activity which is repeated again. Repetition is again a reason to use present perfect continuous over a period of time. Like the police have been interviewing people all week. And we've been playing tennis this week. So the repetition
We mean by repeated here, it is continuous.
continues, exactly.
Because we have something called
With
repeated
numbers, for
actions
example,
with
3
numbers.
times, for example, this is not
Present perfect
present
simple.
perfect simple.
Yes. Next slide, Ms. Samahar. Ms. Najla.
Now we are going to move to the second part, or to the second grammatical part. About the past perfect and the past perfect and the simple past. We use the past perfect to, number one, clarify which of the two actions happened first.
Yes.
So if we have two actions happened in the past,
Actually, they are both simple.
yes,
To show which one happened
yes,
first.
this helps us to know the order.
Yes.
Which one happened first? We use the past
Past
perfect.
perfect
Had
with the
plus
first.
verb 3. Yes.
Okay. Irish people?
Yes,
No,
Irish people.
Before Miss Samar, we didn't move. Yes, Irish people.
Yes, Irish people immigrated because so many had died of starvation.
Which happened first?
So people died
First?
first, then after they saw the death of the people, they decided to immigrate.
So had died.
Yes.
It happened first.
Yes.
Then Irish people
the
immigrated.
immigration happened. So people died, and as a result of their death, others immigrated. By 1854, a quarter of the population of Ireland had immigrated to America. They immigrated before.
And here we have a
1854.
hint. When we have by plus time,
Yes.
always use the past perfect. When you see, dear students, by plus time,
Yes.
by 1854, by the end of the year. So by plus time, always use the past perfect.
But-
A quarter of the population
Yes.
of Ireland had immigrated to America.
But they have to pay attention when it's in.
It's
In
a
is
simple
different.
past. Yes.
In simple past, but
Yes.
by past
By.
perfect.
Exactly.
Next. Miss Ula.
The second one, when we want to talk about a situation or state, feeling or an action in the past. So we felt something because of something happened before. Like, for example, Tariq felt nervous because he had never flown before. So Tariq was nervous at some point in the past. The reason is that he had never flown before.
Again, we're talking about something didn't happen
Didn't
before,
happen, exactly.
another thing in the past, yes?
Another example, when I read the letter, I couldn't stop smiling. I passed all my exams.
Lucky,
Yes.
Lucky me, yes.
yes.
Wish our students the same feeling.
Miss
Yes.
Najla,
Past perfect, to use the past perfect to number 3, provide background information about past event, and this we will highlight it in the
to
second
provide
semester.
background information
Yes.
about past event.
Yes, past event. It is. We will highlight it in the second semester.
Yes.
Yes. Past event. Example for on January 11th, Fiona Thornwell arrived at the South Pole. She had completed the 1,100 kilometers journey in 42 days. She had walked an average of 26 kilometers a day.
Yeah, here we talk about two situations.
Yes.
One happened first, the second thing happened later. The one that happened later is she arrived
Yes.
at the
Simple
South
past.
Pole.
Yes.
Before that, she had completed the 1,100 kilometer journey in 42 days. She had walked an average of 26 kilometers a day.
By 10 a.m. on the last day, the clouds
Again, here we
had.
have by plus time.
Exactly.
Yes, here time. On the last day, the clouds had disappeared and the sun had come out. Note, the past perfect continuous is the subject of unit number 10, grammar reference.
Okay. Next slide, please. Miss
Now
Ola.
we are going to move to using wish. Of course, they have to pay attention that in the first term we have present perfect, simple and continuous, and past perfect. And past perfect is going to continue with the second term, but with background information,
Yes.
like Ms. has
As I
just
said,
said.
yes.
Yes. Now talking about wishes.
Yes.
When do we use wishes? We have
Wish is
yes,
something very important.
very
to know.
important, and it has its own question.
If we summarize, wish is always opposite reality.
Opposite reality, exactly.
And we go one step back in grammar.
Exactly.
The present,
So 2 points to make it short. Past and opposite. So opposite, if the sentence is negative, we can make it positive. If it's positive, it should be negative.
yes, or something different.
And
Something
we have
like
to
an
go
adjective
back
if we
step
have-
in the tense, of course.
And we go one tense
Yes.
back,
Yeah.
present to the past, past to the past perfect.
Of course.
Yes, Ms. Ola.
Okay. To go into details again, we use wish and past simple. We use wish with the past simple to talk about regrets. If we have regrets, we use past simple, and impossible conditions. When we have impossible conditions, we use wish and past simple. For example, I wish I had my glasses with me. Well, I don't have my glasses.
Yes.
I regret not having my glasses. I wish I were 10 years younger. I'm not. This is impossible
Yes, impossible
situation,
thing. Yes, of course.
unfortunately. Now, the second one, we use wish with could. We use wish with could to express inability to change situation. Regret the inability to change a situation we don't like, of course. For example, I wish I could go to your party, but I can't. I can't. It's inability. I wish I could read more quickly. Again, I'm a slow reader, so I can't. The third case, we use wish with would to express criticism or annoyance. When I heard something, I heard someone doing something specific, so I am annoyed or I criticize this action. For example, I wish you wouldn't do that. The speaker is telling someone to stop doing something maybe impolite or not right to do. I wish I would get up earlier. The speaker is unhappy about this behavior. So it's annoyance.
Blaming himself.
Blaming himself, annoyed.
Next slide.
Examples?
Now, before we write wish sentences, I want just to clarify something. What if the student finds it difficult to differentiate between could and would?
I think it's the same.
Let's make it easier. The most important thing is to make the present past
exactly
and the past perfect and opposite reality. If we couldn't understand when to use could or would, it's no problem. Just use the past simple. I can't sing. I wish I could. I don't wake up early. I wish
I woke up. Sorry.
I don't wake up.
I wish I
woke up. So just the simple past is very correct, and you don't need to be complicated.
Past a step further and the opposite. So it's negative, make it positive. It's positive, make it negative.
We have some questions.
Someone is asking to ask you. Of course, you can ask any question you like. Please ask your questions.
Yes, we're here to receive your questions and to help you answer them. Feel free.
Muhammad Al-Atalla or Al-Malla? Atalla.
Muhammad Al-Atalla.
Yes, please ask your questions, Muhammad.
Can I ask more questions? Yes, of course you can ask more questions. Miss Najla, write wish sentences.
Yes. Number 1, I'm really tired, but I can't sleep at night. Here we have the sentence in the present simple, and we have am, okay? Am is the verb to be, syllable for I, and the second one, can't sleep. Here we have inability. We have to change it in the past, could, and it is negative here. We have to put it in the affirmative shape. But I can. So I put I wish I could sleep at night.
Yes. Here we have two parts.
Yes.
I may say I wish I wasn't really tired.
Yes. The weather is too hot at the moment. The weather is, here we have the verb to be in present, and it is affirmative. We change it in the negative, simple past. I wish the weather weren't so hot or were cooler.
If a student put wasn't, is it wrong?
No, it's okay.
Correct. So with wish,
it's okay.
We can use were instead of was.
Was,
but
yes.
Was is the original verb to be to use
and
with I, he, she, it. Yes. But if we use were with I, he, she, it is accepted.
Yes.
With if and wish, we can use were in all cases.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Salah.
Number 3, people drive too fast in the city center. Here we have criticism. The speaker is criticizing people who are driving fast. So the sentence, as you can see, is in the affirmative, and we have drive in the simple present. I wish people would not drive
too fast
or so
would
fast.
Drive
yes.
slowly.
Or would drive slower or slowly. Yes.
What if a student wrote, I wish people drove more slowly or didn't drive too fast?
100%.
And here, I just want to clarify something. Some teachers say to must be changed into so. Not necessarily.
Yes.
It can keep the same. You can change it to so. You can change it to very. It's okay, no problem.
Okay.
Don't be confused.
Yes. The streets are very dirty. Here, annoyance and criticism. We can use the streets are simple present. It is affirmative sentence. We change it into negative. I wish the streets weren't very dirty, or I wish the streets were cleaner.
Or wouldn't be.
Or wouldn't be, yes.
So wouldn't be when you are criticizing.
Yes,
or you just say the past simple, say, I wish the streets weren't very dirty, or were cleaner.
Yes. Number 5, many people in my village smoke too much. It is here also
habit.
criticism. Yes, bad habit. I wish many people in my village, this is the subject, I put it as it is, wouldn't smoke so much or too much.
Wouldn't smoke.
Yes, after
too
would,
much,
I use
or
the zero form of the verb.
I wish people in my village didn't smoke.
Didn't smoke, yes. Or would smoke less.
Too much, so much,
Yes.
very much. All are accepted.
If I used would, so I used would smoke
This one
less.
is done.
Yes.
Yes, would smoke or wouldn't smoke too much.
Or
in the
wouldn't
negative.
smoke too much.
So
Yes.
again, opposite reality, one tense back.
Yes.
Exactly.
Using would, using could, using simple past, it is
All
correct,
accepted.
it is
Yes.
accepted.
The golden rule. For
Yes.
I wish.
Number 6,
It's number 6 is the solution for number 5.
Yes, number 6. I wish people in my village would smoke less. Yeah, it is, as we told you, would
Copying
smoke.
mistake.
Yes, copying mistake. Number 7. There are too much adverts on the television.
too many.
Yes, too many adverts
Adverts
on
on
television.
television.
Also, we have here criticism, or we have an affirmative sentence. I wish there weren't many adverts on television.
Actually,
or TV.
sometimes they spoil the adverts,
programs,
putting
yes.
some drama soap opera with the adverts. We want to watch the adverts, not the soap opera.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, our city doesn't collect rubbish often enough. Here we have also a negative sentence, doesn't. I wish our city would collect rubbish often enough. This is a solution. I am not good at maths.
I wish our city
Yes.
did collect, if we want
Or
to use
did,
the...
yes.
Or collected.
Collected.
Or
Simple
collected.
past, yes. We have many choices.
So let's do it again. Our city doesn't collect simple present rubbish often enough. Either the student can write, I wish our city collected rubbish
Yes.
more often. Or
Simple
more
past,
often,
yes.
or would collect,
It's annoyance.
yes,
It is
would
annoyance or
collect
criticism,
rubbish.
yes.
Again, we went to the past. We can use would or we can use the past. If a student used did collect, it is correct because he is emphasizing
Emphasizing,
here.
yes.
So he can say, I wish our city did collect or collected or would collect rubbish very often.
Now, number 9, I'm not good at maths. Here, I wish I were
This is me, actually.
good at math. Me too. I wish I am. Here we have am, simple present. We can change it into were because it is negative. We put it in the affirmative form. I wish I were good at maths.
I wish I were, I wish I was good at maths.
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay.
Number 10, I can't read very quickly. After can't, we have zero form, and can't is a negative and present. I wish I could read very quickly.
What questions do we have, Ms. Sarah?
He's confused between using the simple past and present perfect.
It's very easy.
Very easy.
If we have time reference, if we know the
Now,
time
please,
when...
sorry to interrupt. Muhammad, listen to us to differentiate.
Yes. If we have time reference, if we know when the thing happened, we use simple past. So the present perfect and the simple past, they both talk about something happened before the present. Something happened and finished in the past. If we have time reference like yesterday, ago, last plus time, we use the simple past. If we don't have time reference, time is not mentioned, we use the present perfect. Present perfect
So
simple.
when it's clear, we have time reference like ago, in 2002, yesterday, last week, last
summer,
month,
yes.
we use simple past.
And if we
He's
don't
saying
have
that
time,
is here. So if we don't have a time reference like this one, we have since, for, or yet, already, all weekend. We can use present perfect.
usually we have in the exam hints like already, just,
Exactly.
almost. But even if we don't have just, already, when we don't have time reference, the time is not mentioned.
Perfect.
Present perfect simple is used, not the
And
simple
about the
past.
past perfect, it's clear we should have something in
actions.
the, exactly, two action, and both in the past. The one that happened first, past perfect.
Is it that clear, Muhammad? We hope so. Next slide, Ms. Samaha?
Now we can move to some words and phrases to introduce explanation. Like in order to, because, and to.
Actually, in order to and to are
They
the
are
same.
almost the
they
same,
have the
yes.
same function.
Function and meaning. Yeah.
They are followed with infinitive.
Infinitive. To give examples, in order to or infinitive, some people move to greener areas in order to survive. Why do they move? In order to survive or to survive.
So in order to and to are the actions of why.
Why?
The answers
And because
to why.
as well.
That's the reason.
So explanations, when we have words that express explanation, we can ask by using why.
Yes.
The second one with because. Because with the clause, it means we have a subject and a verb.
And a verb. After because, there should be a subject and a verb. But
Exactly.
after in order to and to,
Infinitive verb. A verb.
base form, zero form of the verb.
Example for because, we need to produce more food because there are more people to feed. So why do we need to produce more food? Because we are explaining. Be explaining.
Because
Two,
we need. So need is the subject and need is the verb.
verb, of course.
We need to have a subject,
Subject
and a
and
verb.
verb. This is called
after
clause.
Because.
Yes. Another example, because there are more people to feed, we can use because in the middle of the sentence or at the beginning of
At
the
the
sentence.
beginning. Yes.
We usually put a comma after the first half when we start with because.
Okay. The third example with to, and as we've said, it's the same as in order to. Trees are cut down to make more agricultural land. And so why are trees cut down? To make more agricultural land. Again, these are words to express explanation. When we
Yes,
want to explain.
Here, if the student has in the exam a space to fill, if he put in order to make more agricultural land, it's correct. If he just put to make, it's correct.
Accepted.
Next slide, Miss Samahar, please. Miss Najla.
Yes. Explanations and results. We use the following words and the phrases to link actions with results, causes and effects. For example, so that plus clause, the soil is destroyed so that the land cannot be used for growing crops.
Again, so that is followed with a clause.
Yes, the land cannot be used. The clause means subject plus verb. Here the land is the subject, cannot be is the verb, can't be used for growing crops. Number two, to be the cause of. The activities of human beings are often the real cause of desertification. So here we have clarified the reason.
Yes.
Number three, with the result that plus clause.
Again, with the
Farmers-
result that is followed with a clause.
Clause, yes, and it is an important point here because the student should be aware that when he is asked to complete by using a clause, not to complete by using a number, for example, or a noun, okay, he will lose marks.
Yeah, of course.
And he has to write a clause which means subject plus verb. Farmers tend to overcultivate their land with the result that the soil becomes unproductive. The soil here is the
subject.
noun, is the subject.
Becomes
The
the
verb,
verb.
unproductive, of course.
Let
is
me
the
just
completion.
clarify something, if you allow me.
Yes.
Difference between sentence, clause, and a phrase. A phrase, maybe it has a subject but no verb. 2 words or 3 words without a verb, we call it a phrase. The clause, it has a subject and a verb, but it doesn't give full meaning. It needs something to be added. So it is not a sentence, it is a clause. Clause means semi-sentence,
Yes,
not
and
full
the full meaning,
sentence.
yes.
The sentence has a subject and a verb, and it gives full meaning. So when it has a full meaning, we call it a sentence, even if it's only 2 words. Like when we say, birds fly. Birds fly is a sentence because it gives a full meaning.
Yeah.
But when we say, the man who answered, the man is a subject. Answered the verb, but doesn't give
Doesn't
full
give any
meaning. So
meaning.
this is a clause.
We need something to clarify
To clarify
things.
the meaning.
This is why we say clause. Clause means subject and verb, but not completed. It doesn't have full meaning. It is dependent. It needs something to be added.
Yes,
Yes?
unfortunately, some students lose some marks in the question where they have to continue.
So if a student continued writing because like this, it's 0.
Yes, or since 2002, for example, if we have since in the exam.
It's a completion,
Yes,
yes.
completion.
Yeah.
Yes, now Number 4, to lead to. Wildfires can lead to greater pressure on the Earth's most
Wildfires can lead to greater pressure
on the Earth's most precious resource, water.
Water. To lead to.
Yes, lead to. Greater pressure here, noun.
This is a noun. It
Yes,
is
noun. Not close.
Here, to is not part of infinitive.
No, it's part of the verb.
Part
Lead
of the
to.
verb. It is a preposition. And preposition usually are followed with a noun or
Noun.
verb ing.
Prepositional.
Next slide, Ms. Maher, Ms. Ula.
Now we move to
Possibilities.
a different idea, a new one.
This is something very
Important,
important, and usually students meet in the exam to fill using must or can't.
To explain possibilities. In the book, we have 3 modal verbs to explain possibilities or possible truth. Must, can't, and might. Must, can't, and might are used in this book to explain possibilities. We're going to have examples on each one. We use must and infinitive. So the 3 of them can be used with infinitive to express something that happens or is going to happen in the future. So present and future. When we want to talk about present and future, we use infinitive. When we want to talk about something that happened in the past, we use have and past participle.
Actually, the past of all these adverbs is formed by using have, verb 3.
Now, we use must with infinitive or must with have past participle. So we use must to talk about things which are almost, they are sure true, surely true. We are sure that they are true. So when things are true or we are sure that they are true, we use must.
Must.
Example, he must earn quite a lot of money to be able to afford that car.
He wants to buy an expensive
And
car.
he must be very
So here we
rich.
say he must earn.
He must
And
earn a
here
lot
we
of
don't have be. It's immediately the
earn.
zero form. He must earn.
It's infinitive, so it has to be infinitive. They must have come, this is in the past, they must have come from somewhere hot like Africa.
So when we are sure something is true, we use must.
Must.
Next slide, Miss Maher. Miss Najla.
Yes, now explaining possibilities, we are still in the same grammatical rule. We use modal verbs must, can't, and might to explain possible truths. Number 2, we use can't infinitive or can't have with past participle to talk about things which we are almost sure are not true.
Yeah, that's it.
When
So
we
difference
are-
between must and can't.
Yes.
Must, we are sure it's true.
Yes,
We are
and
sure it's not
can't,
sure, not
yes,
true.
we are sure it is not. It can't be easy designing and building bridges. They are complicated structures.
It can't be easy.
Yes.
More easier sentence I remember, he always borrows money from me. He can't be rich.
Yes.
Or
Can't.
he has 3 villas. He can't be poor.
Of course you can't.
For sure that it is not true.
They can't have finished their lunch already. They only started eating 5 minutes ago.
Usually people don't finish in 5 minutes. They
Yes.
can't have finished. Yes. Next slide, Miss Samaher.
The last one,
The last one might.
with might. Might, we are unsure about anything. When
Yes.
we're not sure, we use might. So it might be true or
True
not.
or not true.
Yes.
So we use might with infinitive or might with have past participle. Again, when we talk about present, future, we use infinitive. Past with have past participle, we use might. Example, she might be French. She has a strange accent, but we can never be sure.
Yes.
Maybe she's not French.
Maybe she's Italian.
Actually, for the students in the exam, so that you surely know which one to use, there is going to be something to tell you. A sentence telling you that it is true, or it is not true, or we don't know. So when we don't know, it is might. When we are sure it's true, we give you a
Yes.
sentence in the exam.
Definitely, for example,
Yes,
we are
and
sure that
you will know that it should be must, or
Yes.
it should be
Might, probably, for
Can't.
example, with the word probably. Probably it means we're not
Yes.
sure.
yes. Probably
Possible,
means
yeah.
it's possible.
And
All
sometimes
these
they
hints.
get confused when they see the word I'm sure, but they have to pay attention. They might be followed with I'm sure he was not at home, for example.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure he was
Or
not
he
at home.
was at
This
home.
is can't.
Yes, can't or
This means students should not just pay attention to keywords.
No.
They need to concentrate on the context.
The whole
grammar,
The whole sentence,
grammar
yes.
through context.
I think they shouldn't decide on any choice till they get to the point, to the last full stop.
And we will show them in the sample
Yes,
exam
of course.
papers after we finish
Things are going to be
explaining.
clear.
We might have got stuck in heavy traffic. Okay, next slide. Whose turn?
Her turn.
Yes, the passive now. We
Yes,
often
something very important.
Yes,
The passive is
important.
included in the first term, and
Yes.
students need to know well how to change. Before we read, when do you usually change into passive?
We usually use the passive in one of two cases. The first case that when the subject is unknown. The second one when the subject is known, but it is not very important. We want to concentrate, to focus on the action itself.
And sometimes when it's
maybe-
obvious. So
Maybe
obvious.
Yes.
we want to concentrate on the object.
Yes.
When the object is more important about. For example, when we talk about Hamlet, we're not talking about Shakespeare. Shakespeare is the
We're
writer.
talking about
We
the
are
play.
explaining him. So we say Hamlet was written by Shakespeare. But when the focus is on Shakespeare, we say Shakespeare wrote Hamlet. Yes,
yes.
continue, please.
So the passive now, we often use passive verbs to describe processes. A form. To form the passive, we use the verb to be in whatever tense we need. So it is essential here.
A, the form.
Yes.
To form the passive, we use the verb to be in whatever tense we need, then add the past participle. Actually, to make it simpler, the object of the active sentence
Now
comes
becomes the
at the
subject.
beginning.
Yes.
The verb goes to be verb 3. Between them, we use verb to be
the suitable case
as
of,
follows.
yes.
Pandas
Pandas
are
are
protected.
protected by their thick, warm coats. So here we are concentrating on pandas, how they
Actually,
are corrected.
the agent is the warm coats.
Yes, the
So
warm
thick
coats.
warm coats protect.
Yes.
This is simple present sentence. Thick warm coats protect
Pandas.
pandas.
Yes.
Pandas
Are
are
protected.
protected by their thick warm clothes, and here the agent is important. Without the agent, student may take 0, because we tell the students, if the agent is not important,
like they,
leave
for
it.
example.
Yes.
If
Leave
it's a
it.
pronoun, for example.
If it is he, for
He,
example, she, they, we leave it.
Yes.
But when it's important, like in this sentence, the active sentence for this passive is thick warm coats protect
It's important
pandas.
here,
So
yes.
it is important.
Important.
We changed it by putting pandas at the beginning. Pandas are protected. The verb protect went to verb 3. It is regular, so we added ed. And we put verb to be are in
Because
the
it's
middle.
present simple.
Because pandas is
General
plural.
situation.
Yes, plural.
If pandas are being threatened
By enemies, they climb up the nearest tree.
this is present
If the agent
continuous.
is mentioned, it is preceded by the word by.
Yeah, and let me go back to the active sentence of this. Enemies threaten, not threaten. Enemies are threatening. Enemies are threatening pandas.
Yes.
So this is present continuous active. The passive of it, if pandas are being, we use being when it is present continuous, are being threatened by enemies, they climb up the nearest tree.
Yes. The following.
We said, yeah, the following, if pandas are being threatened, they climb up the nearest
The
tree.
nearest tree.
Next slide, please.
If you please, before we move on, again, Muhammad is following us.
Thank
and
you,
he's
Muhammad, for being
asking-
with us.
And he's asking about doing exercise on page number 3 about the modal verbs. The first one, Khalid has a very good accent. Sorry, Khalid has a very good English accent. So we have in between brackets to choose between to use leave and English family to use a modal verb. He might.
Yeah, here we are not sure.
We're not sure. He might have lived with
But
an English
even
family.
if a student wrote he must have lived, it will be correct. In the exam, it will be clearer
Clear,
than this.
of course,
Yeah.
of course.
It will be clearer than this.
These kind of exercises are put in the activity book, because we have the teacher supporting the students with any information they need. So it's clear, it's okay if it's not completely clear. They shouldn't be worried.
Yeah, in the exam, the sentence would not be ambiguous, because here must is accepted and might is accepted. In the exam, you will have a specific target, either must or might, not both will be accepted.
But the last one, Ali has just drunk 2 liters of water. So he must be thirsty, right?
Yeah,
To drink 2 liters of
Yes.
water. So
He must be, because
must be.
he will not be able to drink 2 liters if he wasn't.
Thirsty.
Two.
So he
Yes.
must have been, because it's in the past, he must have been very thirsty.
Yeah.
Hope you answered your question. Sorry. Now we move on to the use of passive.
B, the use.
The use of passive. The main reason, like you have just mentioned, to focus the attention on the object rather than the subject of a sentence. For example, until the 1960s, pandas were hunted for their skins. So in this passive sentence, we consider the pandas to be more important than the hunters.
Yeah, usually it is very clear that hunters.
Hunters.
Yes.
They hunt
Of course.
pandas.
So until the 1960s, people hunted pandas for their skins. In this active sentence, the attention on the people who hunted the pandas. The second reason, the second use of passive, we may also use passive rather than active verbs to make sentence formal or impersonal. Scientific facts are usually used with passive voice. Example, pandas were originally found in several parts of Asia. So,
Yeah, the active sentence is people find.
exactly. So
People originally found.
it's more formal,
Pandas.
impersonal. It's not something that is personal.
Here, the agent is not important,
Not important at all.
because it's clear that people found pandas in several parts of Asia. Pandas were originally found in several parts of Asia.
So
Next
it's obvious.
slide. Miss Najla,
Now, passive
Number
sentences. Yes, number 3. Do not always say who did the action or the agent. We don't need to mention the agent if we don't know who the agent is.
Yes.
Example, my car has been stolen
We don't
by
know the
an unknown thief. Of course, he doesn't know who stole his car. It is obvious who the agent is. Anyone who is caught hunting is severely punished. Judges and the law punish people who have done something wrong.
yes.
It is not important who the agent is. As we
When
told,
it's not important,
Yes.
we leave it.
Yes.
So we leave it when we don't know, when it's very clear,
Yes.
and when it
When
is
it
not
is-
important. Not known, not important, and very clear. When when the agent is very clear, we don't need to mention it.
Yeah.
For example, when we say man was created in a lovely way. Man, I mean man and woman here.
Very beautiful,
The
of
kind.
course.
So we know that the agent is God. So it's very clear.
Yeah. Example, panda sanctuaries have been set up in China. Note the passive form of modal verbs in the subject of unit number 11 in grammar reference. Yes, of course, the students can go there and read
Yeah.
these hints.
Next slide, Mr. Maher. Vocabulary and Miss Ola.
Okay, now Nagam has just joined us. So hello, Nagam. We are not foreigners, Nagam.
We're
We are from
greeting her
Syria.
too.
Okay, now to start with words, vocabulary used in the book.
I couldn't read.
She's asking if we are foreigners from
No, we're
England
not
or-
foreigners. We're Syrian.
We're Syrian.
But thank you for saying this. It's kind of flirtation.
Okay, now words, to start with, the first unit starts with words with more than one meaning. For example, society. With society, we have
It has two meanings.
two meanings. One that means club, and one that means people,
Organization.
people in
People
the
living in a
community.
country, yes.
For example, the first one, when I was a student, I was a member of the law society. In
This is
this
a club.
case, it's a club.
Or association.
Exactly. So the second one, a strong legal system is important in a modern society. This is the people in the
country, yes,
community.
people in the country.
Ruler, it means
Has two meanings as well.
ruler, the one who rules
In charge of
country or in
country.
charge of something, responsible for the country, or this straight piece of plastic we used to draw lines.
Yes.
Tutankhamun was a very famous Egyptian ruler. This is the one responsible for the country, for the people. I'm doing my math homework. Can I borrow your ruler, please?
So from the context, a student can know the real meaning of the word. From the context.
Exactly.
Yes.
Property. Property, it can mean something it belongs to, like this pen, for example, it's a property.
Your property.
Or a building like a house or a shop.
Lands.
Yes.
Taking another person's property is theft. This is property. The price of property, the price of buildings, the price of lands in the city has increased dramatically this year. Court. Court, it means the place where players...
two meanings. Either a place where people play tennis.
Play sport, tennis, for example. Or the place where trials go on or take place. Judges, lawyers. In the final of the championship, the players were on court for 2 hours. Of course, this is the place where they do sport. 3 men will appear in court tomorrow accused of dangerous driving. This is about the place where trials take place.
Fine can be an adjective and can be a noun.
Yes.
Exactly.
When
an
it is
adjective, fine, it's money paid as punishment.
When it is a noun.
A noun.
And when it is an adjective?
Something good.
Yes, kind, good, yes.
He did a fine job of washing my car, so he did well.
Look,
by
if
doing
we're going to help the students, both have a, how can the student know that the first is a noun and the second is an adjective?
Because it's followed with a noun, job.
Yes.
The first one belongs to the job, not
if
for...
if the word find is followed with another noun, it is an adjective.
Yes.
When we don't have another noun, it is a noun.
And they should pay attention to that because we have exercises between brackets about words families, adjective, adverb, etc. Type again, it's a verb or a noun. What type of, secretaries used to spend most of their time typing letters and reports, or what type of music do you like best?
Yes.
Yes. Next slide, Ms. Samahir and Ms. Lilian, who joined here. Word families.
Families. Here we have derivations and people have to study them well.
Yeah, this is an exam exercise.
Yeah.
This is an exercise for exam, and it is not advised to the students to choose the longer one, as teachers usually tell them.
Of course not, yes.
We need to know which one is the adjective, which one is the noun, and which one to choose.
Yes.
Yes, letter A.
Many people believe that the worst crimes are murder and other violence or violent acts. Here we have, after the brackets, a noun, acts.
So we need an adjective.
So we need an adjective. An adjective is the violent acts.
Violent acts, yes.
B, there would be chaotic situation in society if there were no legal or law systems. In the first choice, we have situation, noun, after the brackets, and we need an adjective.
It's chaotic.
Yes, chaotic. The second one, we have also systems, a noun, and we also need an adjective. We have the law is a noun, the legal is the adjective. So we have to choose legal.
Yes.
C.
So the full form is there would be a chaotic situation in society if there were no legal systems.
The sentence C, he left court a free man because he had proved that he was innocent, yes. He was, we need here an adjective, and it is innocent.
Innocent. And by mistake here we put not guilty.
The jury,
it should have been innocent.
No, the jury said
he was
the second part.
Not guilt.
Really? Okay.
Yes, we have here two choices. Not guilt or not guilty.
Not guilty.
Okay, he wasn't guilty. He wasn't
So he
guilty.
was innocent, he was not guilty.
Not guilty.
Yes. My weekly earnings are twice as much as they were last year. Twice means double. Yes. We have here earn, verb, and earnings, a noun. My weekly here is an adjective, and we need a noun. My weekly earnings are
twice as much as they were. Miss Saula, will you please continue?
Yes.
Okay.
A huge earthquake.
A huge earthquake caused the destruction of Agadir, Morocco in 1960. The, it indicates noun, so we have to choose destruction. Destroy is a verb. So, 2 disastrous potato crops led to mass starvation.
And we don't have another noun.
No, we don't have a noun. So it's
an adjective.
It's an
and
adjective. And
that is usually followed with a noun.
With a noun. 2 disaster or disastrous potato crops led to mass starvation in Ireland. Again,
potato
we have
is the noun.
Potato crops is the noun. So we need an adjective. Disastrous is an adjective. Disaster is a noun.
Yes.
So we use disastrous. So it's 2 disastrous potato crops. The, again, the with the noun, and there's nothing that follows. So the majority of the worst migrants moved to find a better life. The people of Tristan da Cunha left because of volcanic adjective, so we need a noun, volcanic activity.
Act is a verb.
Is a verb.
The noun with noun is activity.
Activity. The economic or economy success. Success is a noun, so we need an adjective, economic success. Economic success.
The economic success of 1960s and 1970s was founded
by
oil. We will go for a break now for 5 minutes, and after the break, after 5 minutes, we will continue, God willing. So take a rest, don't be away, we'll be back.